Mr. Strings, a short, scary story. Written by Stories from the Attic. Narrated by Robin Mcconnell. As he led me into the back of the store, the light from the outside world fading into a tangled forest of knick-knacks and curios, I began to think that perhaps, finally, I had found the place, and that this, after all my searching, could be something special. I had been scouring the junk shops, antique dealers, and curio shops of this particular city for over a month, sifting through the myriad and manifold collections of disparate delights, looking for that one treasure that would be the centerpiece of my exhibit. I had, it is true, discovered several interesting artifacts amongst the cornucopia of dross and useless things, but nothing that stood out to me as a genuine one-of-a-kind object of curiosity, such as would make visitors to the exhibit gasp or force the tiny hairs on the backs of their necks to stand on end. Now, finally, I hoped I may have found such an item. The exhibition, Creatures, Collections, and Curios, had been booked for months. The idea was to arrange one room of the gallery into the appearance of an old curiosity shop, overlaying and storing a vast array of things from around the world and showing through these tangible, solid objects the power of narrative. My idea was for the visitor to be able to tour these objects and artifacts with a headset that would allow them to access information on each piece as they lifted it or pointed to it. In China, I had visited a row of antique shops that guidebooks advised visitors to frequent, not for the experience of buying anything, but because every single object stuffed onto the shelves or hiding in the nooks and crannies of the place had a story, a tale of its origins and providence that the owners would unravel for the curious visitor. On their own, the objects themselves were often worthless, or at least of extraordinarily little value. Once the story is linked to them, once the words were wound around them like golden threads of spider silk, their value rose exponentially. It was the story, not the solidity, that mattered, the woven and often invisible blanket of mist that shrouded the object and which would allow the owner to explain some detail about the piece. The experience for the visitor was to revel in the exploration of the histories that attached themselves to these objects. Therein lay the curiosity, and it was this experience I wanted to recreate.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?